excited and grateful to be here with this Women in Cloud community. And grateful is a very important word, and here's why. One word, impact. All of you in this room have the potential for massive impact. You can change the world for each other by how you lift other women up when you're sitting in meetings with them. And you can change the world with the voice that you put out there, sharing your voice and allowing others to hear it. That word, impact, is powerful. And it has been the center of my world for the last 20 years. I work with leaders to help them have more impact in high-stakes moments. And nothing makes me more happy or fills my soul than getting that text that says, "We nailed it. We won the business." Or my favorite, "I got the funding." Nothing makes me more sad than when I hear a story that's amazing, limit its potential, impact because of the how. That makes me sad. What do I mean by the how? The how is how you show up, how you walk into that room, how you take charge, and how you tell your story. So we're going to start off with an exercise, one of many. I'm known for that. I'm known for making people feel slightly uncomfortable to try out new things. And here's the exercise. Did anybody here meet somebody new today? Someone they'd never met before? We should see everybody's hand in the air. Okay, good, lots of them. What I want you to do is I want you to take out a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down your first impression of that person. It could be one word, it could be two words. It could be gravitas, charisma, confidence, dynamic. It can be meek, shy, insecure. Whatever it is, write down what your first impression was. I'm gonna do the little Jeopardy. Da-na-na-na. You got just a couple seconds for that. Write it down. Some of you are writing. Some of you maybe don't have pens. That's fine. Do you have something in your head? How you felt about that person. Okay, great. Here's the point. You wrote something down. You had an impression. And you made a decision because of that impression. What was the decision that you made? You made a decision whether or not you were going to give that person your attention. And you deciding that right now. You're deciding whether or not you're going to give me attention and how much attention you're going to give me as a result of presence. But what is it? What is behind this decision that we make? What are the factors that we're considering? And how important is presence in how others make decisions about you? So you've got this decision in the middle. Let's say that you have an employee that comes up and says, "I want a promotion." Or they want to be staffed on a new project. Or let's take something personal. Your teenage son or daughter comes up to you and says, "I want to borrow the car." Decision, right? And you've got about 3 factors that go into that decision. Oops. All right, I'm just going to not use slides. 3 factors that go into this decision. You've got who is asking you, teenage daughter versus husband. Now, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't give your keys to your husband either, but you have that who. Then you've got what they're asking for, and then you've got how they're asking for it. All of those things you're considering. The who, obvious, you see their face, you know who they are. The what, pretty clear. The how, that's happening on a subconscious level. And you're deciding by watching and listening, am I going to give this person what they want or not? And we do it pretty quickly. And that is what executive presence is all about. Executive presence is that behavior and mindset combination that conveys that you are confident, in control, and that you care about connecting. That's the best definition that I found of executive presence. And we decide pretty quickly if someone has it. And I hear all the time, "Jenna, you should work with that person because they lack executive presence. They should have more executive presence." But what is it? No one really defines it. And when I dig deeper into, okay, well, what's behind that? What do you mean with executive presence? I hear things like, they should own the room. They should speak up more. They should be more confident. When they walked in the room, they didn't look like they cared. It's these subtle things that people are paying attention to, but not talking about outright. They give you one of those very complicated pieces of feedback. You should have more executive presence. You should speak up more. You should have more confidence. What do you do with that? How do you go change that? So what I want to try with a volunteer in the room, someone who has a great idea, is an exercise around two of the components of executive presence that are very important: posture and voice. But before I have the volunteer come up, I'm going to have you all do an exercise in the room. How many of you have ever been on a conference call? I know, it's kind of a joke. Everyone here has been on a conference call. Okay, so I want you to get into your conference call position. I had one woman, I asked this question, get in your conference call position, she's like this. I drive when I'm on conference calls. All right, get in your conference call position. Y'all sitting in it? Nobody's standing, which is interesting. Some of us, yeah, there we go. We have one person standing. Okay, you're in your conference call position. All of you are in your conference call position. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. And when I say go, I want you to say your name and your role. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Wow. Impact. Did y'all hear that? What did it sound like? Wah, wah, wah. It sounded like I'm dating myself, but the teacher from the Peanuts cartoon, wah, wah, wah. It was a little low energy, right? It was a little bit of monotone there. So here's the next version I'm going to have you try. I'd like for you this time, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. I want you to pull your shoulders back. I want you to lift your hands up a little bit and gesture. I know it sounds odd. You wouldn't say, hello, my name is Jenna, and I'm a communications consultant. You don't normally do that. But today, for fun, we're going to do that. We're going to use our hands to say our name and what we do. Ready? Got your hands up? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, did you hear that? That was a little bit of a shift, right? That was a shift in the how. And what's more important than saying, this is who I am, and this is what I do? But do you know how much attention we put on that when we're on a conference call that we're not leading? Someone's like, okay, why don't we go around the room and do introductions? Okay, we'll do introductions. Hello, my name is Jenna, and I'm a communicator. We don't spend enough time thinking about how that moment is impacting how people make decisions about us. So that's one quick exercise. And now I would like to try another one. Voice is one of the 7 observable behaviors that people are using when they decide if you have executive presence or not. And when I get calls from VCs who say, I want you to work with the CEO, Jenna, we sent her on the road, she's not getting the funding that we want her to have, she doesn't own the room, her voice doesn't carry. I hear that a lot. What do you mean by voice? I don't know. And this is a term I love. It's pitchy. It's pitchy? What does that mean? And what I find is that when we are our best confident selves, our voices aren't necessarily pitchy. When we're at home with our closest friends telling our kids what to do, go to your room, clean it right now. Our voices are not pitchy. Unless we're screaming, Gah! But most of the times they're not. But then when we get into a situation where we're uncomfortable, when there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot at stake, it's us selling an idea, it's us selling ourselves and asking for a promotion, our voices change. We put more in there than we need. We say and ah. It doesn't have that natural modulation that we typically have. So an exercise that I like to do to really highlight 2 of those 7 is an exercise that I'd love to try with someone up here who's got a great idea. Somebody who's got an idea that they might have to carry, like they want to get promoted, they want to get staffed on something, or they have an idea for funding, and they'd like to just try it out and get some free coaching. Is there anybody out there who has that? Yes, all right, let's give her a huge round of applause. And get her to try this out. And then here's the fun thing, you all are gonna have a chance to try this exercise as well. So I've mentioned a couple times 7 observable behaviors. We use this quite a bit to dissect this very obtuse term, executive presence. Let's label all the 7 before we do this coaching. So I mentioned voice. I mentioned posture. Think of the other things that you used this morning to make an impression about the person that you wrote down. So there's voice, there's posture. What else? Just shout it out. Pardon? Eye contact and facial expressions, your whole face. Are you smiling or are you really angry? What's going on there? What else? That's 3.
Body movement.
Your movement. Exactly. What else? Pardon? Yeah, gestures. Yeah, your handshake. Natalie over here, who's on my team, has got a killer handshake. If anybody wants to come shake her hand today, I highly recommend it. Handshake is that gesture. It's the movement, it's the gestures. What else? First impression.
Appearance.
Yes, dress. Come on. What you're wearing. Is that saying, yes, I want to get to know you or not? And it's everything. It's the hair, it's the eyeglass, it's up top to bottom. Absolutely. Yep. So there's a lot wrapped up into it, but we're just going to focus on voice. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have you tell me, you pretend you have an idea for that you want funded?
I have an idea, yes.
Okay.
I would like funded.
Okay. I'm going to be a venture capitalist.
Okay.
Okay?
It's a nonprofit, so you might be a social.
I'm a social venture capitalist. Yes, perfect. And you're going to sell me your idea, and I'm going to be one of those obnoxious folks that only gives you a minute of your time, right? Okay. 1 minute of your time to sell me on this idea. Now, here's your job. You are all going to watch what's happening, and you're going to say, if there's one thing that we could coach her on, this is Elizabeth, by the way, that would help her show up and give her presence to command more money than she would get in this initial one, what would it be? And just a little point here, I would love it if the world were one of those places where I could walk into a room and ask for $5 million of funding and get it in the same way, in the same amount as a 6'2" white man with a baritone smooth voice. I would love that. We're not there yet. We're getting there. We're moving there. But let's make sure that we make the most of our assets and be the best version of ourselves in these very critical moments. Okay, so, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Just so you know, this is really scary.
More applause, more applause. Okay.
Okay. Hi.
Yes.
So I'm working on a platform that will allow people to make commitments for changes that they're going to make to lower their carbon footprint. And it will tell them how much of a carbon impact it is, but also let them see what the collective impact is for all of the people who are making the same commitments, so that they can see that their little piece is part of a really big number.
Let's give her a round of applause. That was pretty good. So there was great posture, thinking about presence, right? There's great posture. There was a gesture that landed a moment, a key message. What was it? Yeah, a little bit, right? So that's memorable. What else? Voice? Yeah, what was impactful for you?
So you're saying that little bitty piece makes a big impact
Yeah.
with the collective.
When you put the collective, so, and you remembered what she said as a result. Okay, perfect. What could we work on? Projection. Love it. So we're going to do an exercise that I do with senior people, men and women around the world. And you guys are going to say, are you kidding? You really do this? I really do this. This is an exercise called gobbledygook. Here's what gobbledygook is. We are going to take the content away from her, so she doesn't have to think about it. And all she has to think about is projecting her voice to land the message and get my attention. So it looks something like this. Gobble, gobble. Gobbledygook, gook. Gobble. Gobble, 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 gobble. Gobbledygook, gook. Gobble, gobble. Gobble, gobble. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. But here's why we're going to try it, because you're not thinking about the content. You're just thinking about connecting with that person and your voice. That's it. And then if you go back to your content after that, it's pretty amazing with changes. So let's just try it. Even shorten the content. Gobbledygook. Ready?
All right. Gobbledygook. Gobbly, gobbly, gook, gook. Gobble gobble. Gobble gobble. Gobble gobbledygook. Gobble gobble gobble.
Wow, that was amazing. Okay, now we're gonna go back and I want you to give me your pitch again, same amount of time that you used in gobbledygook and the same amount of energy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay.
You got this, you got this.
Okay. A platform.
Yeah.
That people can make commitments to make a change in their carbon footprint so that they can see that their little bit of changes are going to make a big impact when they're combined with everyone else who's doing the same thing.
Wow, all right. High five. So nicely done. I have something for you, thank you. So I believe that I'm running out of time, so we're not going to have an opportunity for everybody to try this. You're like, darn, bummer, I really wanted to do this. But as silly as that exercise is, the point is, when the stakes are high, we don't always act like our best version of ourselves. Weird things happen. So we have to practice. We have to get ready for that moment of impact. And our voices really matter. So try the gobbledygook exercise with the ideas and the pitches that you have and see what shifts in your projection, your pitch, your modulation, and your content. It was longer first time, it got shorter the second time, and that will happen if you try out this exercise. The slides are not up, but this is what I do, and this is what I love to do. And there's, as I said, there's nothing that makes me more happy than having a person have more impact than they might have had in another case with a little bit of coaching. There's a couple different ways that we work with people, but one of them is through an app that we're going to be putting on Women in Cloud with all of our executive presence content and an opportunity for you to practice your pitches, practice your great ideas, and get feedback. So all of that will be part of the Women in Cloud experience for you. And obviously, if you have any questions, you can find me or you can find Natalie. Thank you so much for your time and attention.